Hello India and welcome to a brand new episode of Kiska brand Bajega Industry Titans. In the last decade, we witnessed a humongous rise of smartphone users, which also fueled the dream of digital India in the country. Talking about smartphones, one cannot forget to mention about Xiaomi and its rise as India's top smartphone brand with maximum market share in just 6 years of its entrance in the Indian market. The brand that made e-commerce websites go crashing down due to its big flash sales and breaking records of being sold out in just minutes after its phone launch is a display of popularity and love the brand has garnered by the audiences. Thus presenting to you the smartphone titan, Manu Kumar Jain, Vice President Xiaomi and Managing Director, Main India. Manu, welcome to Kiska brand Bajega Industry Titans. It's a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Same here. I've heard a lot about this show, so it's my pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you, Manu. Okay, Manu, so let's start right away. The Indian smartphone market is an extremely cluttered market with cutthroat competition. According to you, Manu, what are Xiaomi's major points of difference which sets it apart from its competition?
This is a great question, Aditya. When we started off 7 years ago, we were probably the smallest brand in the country. Sure. And one day we sat down, there were only 4 team members at that point of time. In the beginning, it was only one, which was me. And then slowly we had 2 team members, then we had 4 team members. Around the same time when we had launched, by that time, a few weeks from then, we had grown to 4 team members. And we used to think, wow, we have like 4 people now in the company. So one day we sat down and we counted the number of smartphone brands in the country. You wouldn't believe there were 300 plus smartphone brands in 2014 end. In every single town and every single city, there used to be a new smartphone brand. And we were the smallest amongst 300. And we were smallest with respect to sales. We were smallest with respect to resources. We were smallest with respect to number of people. And smallest with respect to marketing budget, because our marketing budget was 0. So the question was, why would somebody come and buy our product? Why will we succeed? I didn't have any answer. We used to go and meet a lot of tech experts, CEOs, and everybody used to say, Xiaomi can never succeed in India. The reason is very simple, because everybody is going and selling through lakhs of offline shops. You are trying to go online. Everybody's spending millions of dollars every month in marketing while you have 0 marketing budget. And your name is so difficult to pronounce, Xiaomi. Like, nobody even knows about this brand. So there's no way that you can succeed. I think what has worked really well for us is the fact that 2 things. One, they've always built products which have been customized for India in India. And second, they've always done things differently. So when everybody was going offline, we were going online. When everybody started coming online, we started going offline. When everybody was spending money on marketing, we were not spending money on marketing. Our team, most of our leaders do not come from smartphone background. Because they do not come from smartphone background, they always try to do things differently in new ways as compared to what others have done in the past. And hence, we are always trying to bring new thoughts into the system.
One of the prevalent sentiment of nationalism in the country, with many brands going all things nationalistic as they attempt to leverage the pride of Indian consumers and urge them to buy Swadeshi. After everything that has happened between India and China, how does Xiaomi plan to tackle any potential blowback from the Indian consumers?
I would say from the beginning, all our phones have been customized for India or have been now increasingly designed for India. I'll give a small example. Even when we launched phones, right? India was such a unique market because everybody had a dual SIM phone. Now it is such a small thing, but globally, majority of the countries have a single SIM phone. So we had to redesign entire phones for India for dual SIM. Simple things like headphone jack, simple things like all our phones come with P2I nano coating, which makes the phone splash proof. Now our recent phones are IP52 rating. Why? Because in India, there's so much of humidity, or sometimes there's a lot of rainfall, especially in the northern part of the country. We want to ensure that people get the best quality devices based on the local climatic conditions, right?
Sure.
Second, from the beginning itself, we've started focusing on manufacturing, locally manufacturing phones in India for India. Today, all our phones, more than 99% of phones are locally manufactured. All our TVs, 100% of our TVs are locally manufactured. Majority of the components are locally sourced. So these are the products which have been designed in India for India. And I would just say, like in spirit, in spirit, we are as Indian as anybody else, right? Our entire leadership team is Indians. Our phones are being designed, customized by Indian product team, Indian R&D team, and they're being made by Indian team members. We have a overall Xiaomi family of more than 50,000 people, now more than 60,000 people, who are working across factories, service centers, warehouses. So we are trying to build as local a company as it possible could be, right?
Perfect. Well said. Okay, Manu, despite being a foreign brand, Xiaomi over the years has become the number one smartphone brand in India with a whopping 31.2% market share. How did the brand go about achieving the numero uno position in the Indian smartphone market?
I think the reason why we are successful, if I were to really reflect back, right, I think there are a few reasons and few big learnings. First of all, in today's world, when everybody is on social media, everybody has access to YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, your channel, and everything else, right? The speed at which information flows is really fast.
Sure.
So gone are those days when people would just see an ad and then buy something, right? People do their own research, people will read blogs, people will read reviews, and then make an informed choice. And our effort has been to just very transparently talk to people on why our products are probably the most innovative products with best specs, highest quality, and the fact that we try and make these products available at something called as honest price, which doesn't mean that it has to be the lowest price. It just means we will cut down all marketing, distribution, as much cost as possible, supply chain, logistics, working capital cost, and we will give it almost at cost to user, keeping less than 5% profit margin for ourselves. So we do make some profit, but little bit of less, we control our greed. Our philosophy is that our fans are our friends. And if I'm selling anything to my friend, I will not make a huge profit. So we control our greed and give it at a very little profit, less than 5% profit.
Sure.
And that has worked really well for us. We have been able to build this whole community of Mi fans, our users. And today you will be surprised, we have a physical Mi fan club across all major cities in the countries. So we don't have big brand ambassadors. We've had brand ambassadors from time to time. But our biggest brand ambassadors are these young people, right? If you look at smartphone buying, today it is a social phenomenon. Anybody who wants to buy a smartphone will go to a friend or a relative and say, "Kaun sa smartphone kharidun? My budget is this much." Right. And these are the people who tell that buy Xiaomi product because of these specs. This is the best product in this particular price range. So we've been able to build a very strong community across the world, across the country, across all major cities. And these people act as our brand ambassadors. And I think that's one of the big reasons why we are successful.
Agree, completely agree. Smartphones today have become one of the basic needs for human beings. And that makes audience today quite particular about their phone brand. To understand this better, we actually have interacted with general audiences to understand their brand perception towards Xiaomi with some interesting questions. But before that, you get a chance to second guess those questions and try to match it with the audience's perceptions. So the first one, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the word Xiaomi?
I would set up one, but my guess would be these are the probably 4 or 5 things they would say. I hope so. One is India's number one brand.
Sure.
Second, they would say probably the best products available in the market. They would talk about probably the quality. They would talk about the fact that how open we are in communicating with the fans on social media or through different platforms. I think maybe I hope these are the 3 or 4 things.
So Manu has about 4 or 5 things that he has said, but let's see what his fans have in store for him. So let's have a look at that, Manu.
Best products at best prices.
Number one smartphone brand in India.
I guess budget friendly.
Aesthetic designs.
Powerful performance.
A trustworthy smartphone brand.
So all the points actually, Manu, when you said you know your fans well, you really do know your fans well in that sense, right? So I think most of them, right. And the second one, what makes Xiaomi the number one smartphone brand in India?
I would say something similar to the fact that we have the best products, the best quality at the best price, or at an honest price, is one of the reasons why we are number one.
Right.
The fact that we have great price to performance ratio, the fact that we have great quality devices, and an open mode of communication is probably we have been number one. One of thing, of course, they might not realize or might not speak about is the fact that we've always done things differently. Like every single thing that we have done in the country is different from what anybody else has done. So we have, in a way, redefined the market, and probably that's why we are number one.
Point of differentiation, you've done some interesting and innovative stuff. Let's see what the fans had to say.
I guess camera.
Its design.
Affordable prices.
It's battery life.
Camera.
Premium quality at affordable prices.
People were talking about camera, about quality, about premium features at affordable prices.
Yeah, so you more or less got these right as well. Join us after this tiny break to know which marketing campaign won Manu's attention in our next and popular segment, Next Gen Marketeers.
Today also our marketing spend, if you look at the top 5 brands in the country or even top 8 brands in the country, even though we're number 1 brand, our marketing spend would be probably the lowest.
Welcome back, as in this segment, we are unfolding the brand journey of India's top smartphone brand, Xiaomi. Xiaomi took the road which was undiscovered by a lot of brands, but just within a span of 6 years, it has claimed the top spot in the smartphone industry. Thus, to decode your success mantra, in our next segment, The Big Idea, we will show you a campaign of yours which received a lot of love from audience and subsequently give the viewers a sneak peek on the making of a successful marketing campaign.
नोट किया जाए, दूर से देखा तो कमसिन हसीना के सिल्की बाल उड़ रहे थे। रेडमी नोट 7 प्रो पे देखा तो बाल सुखाकर गोल्डी भैया मुड़ रहे थे। हफ्ता बर्बाद कर दिया मेरा।
The new Redmi Note 7 Pro with 48 megapixel camera, 48 million pixel precision. अब हर डिटेल नोट किया जाए। Xiaomi.
Considering the fact that you've roped in Ranveer Singh to endorse Xiaomi's range of smartphones, is there a need for having celebrity-driven endorsements?
That's $1 million question that you're asking. So the reality is, the truth is, it is true that we did not spend any marketing dollars for the first 3 years, from 2014 end when we launched in India till 2017 end. By the time we became number 1, 2017 second half is when we became number 1 brand in the country. For 3 years, we spent literally zero marketing dollars and we became number 1 brand in the country. 3 years ago, another thing changed with respect to our plans in India. For the first 3 years, we were mainly online heavy. We used to sell through our partner platform, Flipkart, Amazon, and through our own e-commerce platform, me.com. At that point of time, the online market had grown from being like almost negligible. Online was 35-40% of the market. And today it is about 45% of the market, right? But still the 50-60% of the market was still offline. It was crazy how we had more than 50% market share in the online segment, 35-40% online segment, but we had literally zero market share in the 55-60% offline segment. So 3 years ago, we also started our offline journey. And today we are present in more than 10,000 plus stores in the offline. And specifically for more offline-centric consumers, I think it is more helpful if we have some brand presence. Because when they walk into a shop, they typically want to buy some product that they have seen some sort of a communication regarding this. So we started investing a little bit in the traditional form of marketing. Yes, we did start 3 years ago. But today also our marketing spend, if you look at the top 5 brands in the country or even top 8 brands in the country, even though we are number 1 brand, our marketing spend would be probably the lowest. So that's point number 1. Point number 2, regarding Bollywood celebrities, we have used a few of our friends or celebrities from time to time. For example, we launched a selfie-focused phone 3-4 years ago called as Redmi Y1 and Y2. And we partnered with Katrina Kaif on that particular promotion of that phone. And then we had Redmi Note 7 Pro and 8 for the phones that I spoke about, the first 48 MP and the first 64 MP phones. So we did partner with Ranveer Singh for the promotion of these 2 phones. So usually depending upon what feature these devices have and what are the attributes of each of these celebrities is typically when we try and use them.
During the initial phases, Xiaomi was heavily reliant for the sales of its product through e-commerce platforms. However, of late, the brand has come up with retail stores in various cities in order to reach the consumers directly. Going forward, do you expect that Xiaomi's offline market sales would overtake its online sales?
Offline has been a great journey for us for the last 3-4 years. I remember when we were opening a first store, it was in Bangalore, a mall very close to our office. We were wanting to open a shop, and the mall manager said, the general manager of the mall, that particular mall said, Xiaomi can never succeed in offline. Xiaomi is an online brand, Nobody knows Xiaomi or MI in offline, and hence nobody will come and buy the products offline. So even though we wanted a shop on the ground floor, the mall manager gave us a shop in the low ground floor in the basement. And the manager said that even if you get 100 people on your day of inauguration, you should consider it as a success. And guess how many people turned up? 10,000 people turned up from across the country on the inauguration day of our shop. And from a 600 square feet shop, we did a revenue of more than 5 crores in one single day. And that day was a day that gave us really huge amount of confidence that we can do anything, like even in offline. We're not only online, but we can also do offline. And from one single store, now we've gone to 10,000 plus shops. Today, our business is almost 50-50. So 50% is online, coming from partners like Amazon, Flipkart, and our e-commerce platform, me.com. And the remaining 50% is coming from all these 10,000 plus shops. And I think this will continue, that around 50% will continue, where half of our business will be online, half of it will be offline.
Perfect. Xiaomi was one of the few companies that took the risk of selling products online. And this strategy worked wonders along with your marketing activities. So in an attempt to give a platform to the young creative minds of our country, in our next segment, we've invited few MBA students from colleges across India who are eagerly waiting to present their marketing ideas for your brand and are doubly excited to know your thoughts on the same. So shall we begin, Manu?
Sure, I would love to interact with them.
So first up, we have Jitesh. So Jitesh, welcome to Kiska brand Bajega. How are you doing?
I'm good, sir.
Hi, Jitesh. Hi, how are you?
I'm all good, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
My campaign idea name is #FullChargeToLife. The background for the same is Xiaomi phones are known for its performance and features offered at this price band, and the mobile phone becoming a synonym of life while providing high-speed performance, battery life, camera, and so on. Any MI device helps the owner unlock its full potential. The concept is, be it any MI phone, mobile battery is always a bang-on feature. So the campaign #FullChargeToLife shows all its features, mobile connecting and correlating with the user, like watching shows on a HD 6-inch screen or multitasking with 8 GB RAM. All this with a strong battery life support to keep you going and make your life fully charged.
I think it's a great idea, especially if you look at the people who are upgrading and who are basically buying slightly more mid-segment phones, like around 10,000-ish rupee kind of thing. Battery is one of the biggest use cases that we have heard. That is actually true. So getting a full day battery life is an extremely important thing for a lot of users, especially at the mid-segment, around 10,000, 11,000, 12,000 rupee segment, or even below than that. So it's a great idea and a great insight. In fact, this is something that we have been pushing from our side. If you look at now today, all our phones, majority of our phones are 5,000 mAh or above. And we recently launched a 6,000 mAh phone, which is like almost like a power bank built into the phone, called as Redmi 9 Power. And we plan to use something similar. But it's a great tagline that you said, full charge to life. I would definitely discuss with the marketing team. Great idea. Thank you so much. I love this, and I would definitely discuss this with our team.
Thank you, Jitesh, for your interesting thought. All the very best to you.
Thank you, sir.
And lastly, we have Rishi. Rishi, welcome to Kiska brand Bajega. How are you doing today?
I'm great.
And what is your idea for Manu?
So as we all know, Xiaomi manufactures 99% of its smartphones and 100% of its smart TVs in India itself. It employs over 60,000 employees living in different parts of the country. Even during COVID-19 pandemic, Xiaomi made sure that the employees received a steady pay and a safe work environment to work in. I conceptualized all of this and tried to take the essence from all of this and to create brand campaign name known as #MeriMitti. Through this campaign, we want to convey to everyone what Xiaomi means to India and to its employees. So the main focus of the campaign would be thousands of employees working in rural parts of India for Xiaomi factories. We would showcase snippets of their lives through our #MeriMitti. Through this campaign, we want to show the change in the lives of people who are working in rural parts of India after they started working with Xiaomi and what impact it had on them as well as on their families.
Rishi, whenever COVID gets over, if it is possible, I would love to invite you to maybe one of our factories, making phones or TVs. And it's so, what you said is so correct. There are so many women, 90% of the workforce in our factories, in our smartphone factories are women. And if you meet these girls, these young girls who come from small towns and villages from nearby, and if you talk to them, they will tell you how their lives completely change, because they come from like background where earlier it was not considered okay for women to work. And they started working, and how they grew in confidence. They feel empowered, and they're now supporting their entire family. They're supporting their parents, they're supporting their spouses, their kids, and many of them are able to send their kids to school because they started working in one of our factories. So your idea immediately reminded me of the stories that I've been part of, or I've interacted with our women team members working in our factories. Their life just went in a very different spin. It significantly improved the quality of life of not just them, but their entire family members once our factory was set up and they started working with us. So it immediately reminded me of those incredible 25, 30,000 women who are working with us. And I think it's a great thing. We should consider doing something with them, just telling their stories. So a great idea. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rishi, for joining us today. I hope Manu can get to use your thoughts in the near future. Thank you very much. Manu, one final question from my end. In the post-pandemic era, what's the way forward for Xiaomi globally when it comes to technological advancements and diversifications?
I think there are 2 or 3 big priorities for the group. The one is, of course, there are still so many different markets. We're only present in like 80, 90 markets as we speak. So there's so many different countries, there's so many different markets where we're not even present in. So how can we ensure, and there are a lot of Mi fans over there who want to buy our products, but they're not able to buy. So the first and most important thing is, can we continue our expansion? While a lot of people talk about a smartphone business, and smartphone is the biggest business, right? And it's the 3rd largest brand in the world and number 1 in India. But they're also the world's largest consumer IoT platform. So how do we keep launching new IoT products? And the aim is anything and everything around us, we should be able to make it smart, like smart lights, smart doors, smart curtains, smart chairs, smart table, everything eventually should become smart. So how do we keep launching new IoT devices? And third, of course, from just a product development perspective, how do we keep pushing the envelope on bringing the latest and the best technology? I think these will be 3 big priorities. How do we keep expanding? How do we keep building new IoT products? And how do we keep pushing the envelope on technology? That, I think, is the biggest priorities from a group perspective. And of course, how do we keep our fans happy? Because we exist because of our fans.
On this note, thank you, Manu, for tuning with us today. We had a great time exploring your tech entrepreneur side and shades of your innovative leadership. On behalf of the entire team at Kiska Brand Bajega, we wish you all the very best, and we hope you keep ruling the hearts of your audiences and the tech market for years to come.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me. Great interacting with you.
This is Aditya Bhat signing off for now. Until next time, happy branding.
Indian customers, the kind of quality of games that they've now seen and the kind of quality they want is on par with any global games out there, right? Especially on mobile phone, right? And I think the only way to ensure that you keep growing is to have better and better games on the platform.